From the mist of time emerges a story of transformation, a fragmented land of rival clans forged into one of history's most enduring empires. This is the saga of Japan, a nation built on resilience, shaped by innovation, and bound by a unique cultural spirit. To understand the Japan we know today, we must go back to where it all began. Let's uncover the origins of a nation and the moments that changed its destiny forever. The land of the Jomon, a journey through ancient Japan, 14,000 BCE to 300 BCE. Our story begins over 14,000 years ago during the Jomon period. The word Jomon translates to cord-marked, a reference to the distinctive patterns found on their pottery. These were some of the earliest examples of a ceramic art in the world, predating even the pottery of Mesopotamia and Egypt. The antiquity of Jomon pottery was first identified after World War II through radiocarbon dating methods. Jomon pottery was not merely decorative, it was functional, used for cooking, storage, and ceremonial purposes. These ceramics demonstrate a blend of practicality and artistry. Dogu figurines are amongst the most enigmatic relics of the Jomon periods. These clay figures, often depicting humans or animals, are thought to have been used in rituals. Their exaggerated features, such as large eyes and intricate patterns, suggest they may have represented deities or been used to ward off illness and misfortune. The Jomon people were skilled hunter-gatherers. They harvested a wide range of foods, from chestnuts and acorns to fish and shellfish. The Jomon period is divided into 6 distinct phases, each marked by advancements in pottery, settlement patterns, and lifestyle. Incipient, initial, early, middle, late, and final Jomon. The early Jomon period, 5000 BC to 3520 BC, saw the rise of stable settlements. People built pit dwellings and began managing forests to ensure a steady supply of nuts and seeds. Pottery diversified, reflecting regional traditions and a blend of utility and artistry. The Middle Jomon, 3520 BC to 2470 BC, represents the cultural peak of the era. Settlements grew larger and more permanent. Elaborate pottery styles, such as flame-patterned designs, became widespread. As the climate cooled during the late Jomon, people adapted by focusing on marine sources. Coastal settlements thrived, supported by advanced fishing technologies. During the final Jomon period, 1000 BC to 300 BC, a slow shift was taking place in western Japan. Steadily increasing contact with the Korean peninsula eventually led to the establishment of Korean-style settlements in western Kyushu, beginning around 900 BC. The final Jomon is succeeded by a new farming culture, the Yayoi, named after an archaeological site near Tokyo. The Yayoi Revolution, 300 BC to 250 AD. Around 300 BC, new settlers arrived in Japan from the Korean peninsula and mainland China. These migrants brought advanced agricultural techniques, metalworking skills, and cultural practices that were vastly different from those of the indigenous Jomon people. Unlike the Jomon people, who are hunter-gatherers, the Yayoi settlers cultivated rice and irrigated fields, ensuring a stable and abundant food supply. The introduction of rice cultivation not only revolutionized Japan's economy, but also fostered the growth of larger, more structured communities. These agricultural villages soon became the foundation of regional clans, or uju, each led by powerful chieftains. The Yayoi Revolution was not just about agriculture. It was also a period of technological innovation. The settlers brought with them bronze and iron tools, which replaced the stone tools of the Jomon era. Bronze was used for ceremonial objects, while iron revolutionized everyday life. Bronze bells, or dotaku, are among the most iconic artifacts of the Yayoi period. These intricately designed objects were likely used in rituals, reflecting the growing complexity of Yayoi spirituality and society. With advancements in agriculture and technology came social stratification. Yayoi period saw the emergence of distinct social classes, with leaders, farmers, artisans, and warriors taking on specialized roles. Archaeological evidence such as burial mounds containing ornate weapons and jewelry suggests the wealth and power became concentrated in the hands of few. The population of Japan began to increase rapidly, perhaps with a tenfold rise over the Jomon. Calculations of the increasing population size by the end of the Yayoi period have varied from 1 to 4 million. Much of the information about later Yayoi culture actually comes from China during the Han and later dynasties. The first mention of Japan in Chinese records was in the Han Shu, a history of the Han dynasty, which was completed in 82 CE. This text referred to Japan as the land of Wa, describing it as a group of scattered tribes living across numerous islands. A later Chinese work of history, the Book of Wei, states that by 240 AD, the powerful kingdom of Yamatai, ruled by the female monarch Himiko, had gained ascendancy over the others. As the Yayoi period drew to a close, the stage was set for the rise of powerful rulers and monumental achievements. The Kofun era and the rise of the Yamato. The Kofun period of Japan began around 250 AD. The Kofun period is named after the massive burial mounds built for the elite. The earliest Kofun were founded in central Hoshu around the modern-day prefectures of Kyoto, Nara, and Osaka. Among the many clans of the Kofun period, one stood out: the Yamato clan. Based on the fertile Nara basin, the Yamato leveraged their strategic location and alliances to dominate the archipelago. By forging alliances with powerful clans and using their military strength, the Yamato rulers extended their control. The major clans that supported the Yamato, like the Soga, the Mononobe, Nakatomi, Kasuga, Otomo, and Haji, were called the Uji and would be ranked or titled according to their level of service. The Yamato clan's power was deeply entwined with religion. They claimed descent from the sun goddess Amaterasu, a claim that would reinforce their divine right to rule. However, the Yamato did not achieve dominance without challenge. Rival clans, regional disputes, and external threats required a blend of military prowess and political acumen. Diplomacy also played a crucial role in their rise. The Yamato rulers established relationships with neighboring states on the Korean peninsula and in China, facilitating cultural exchange and technological advancements. These interactions bolstered the Yamato state's infrastructure and administrative capabilities. The Kofun period was marked by significant cultural change and influences. The burial mounds themselves are a testament to the rich material culture of the time. They were often decorated with intricate Hanawa terracotta figures, reflecting the artistic flair of the period. This period also had a significant impact on the development of the Japanese writing system. Increased interaction with the Korean peninsula and China, Japan was introduced to the Chinese writing system. The adoption of the Chinese characters not only enabled the recording of historical events, but also facilitated the propagation of Buddhism, a religion that came to Japan via the Korean peninsula. Asuka and Nara period, 538 CE to 794 CE. The Asuka period began as Japan transitioned from scattered tribal societies to a more centralized state. It takes its name from the Asuka region, where the first imperial capitals were established. This era's defining characteristic: change. In 538 or perhaps 552 CE, according to some sources, Buddhism was introduced to Japan from Baekje, a kingdom in the Korean peninsula. Along with the Buddha's teachings came text, art, and the seeds of a new worldview. The Buddhist Soga clan took over the government in 580 and controlled Japan from behind the scenes for nearly 60 years. Prince Shotoku, an advocate of Buddhism and of the Soga cause, who was of partial Soga descent, served as a regent and a de facto leader of Japan from 594 to 622. As regent, he not only embraced Buddhist ideals, but also saw their potential to unify Japan under a single ethical framework. He's credited with establishing Japan's first constitution, a 17-article document heavily influenced by Buddhist and Confucian principles. The art of the Asuka period reflects the essence of Buddhist themes. Among its most renowned creations is the Horyuji Buddhist temple, commissioned by Prince Shotoku and completed in 607 AD, which holds the distinction of being the world's oldest wooden structure. In 645, Prince Naka Naoi and Fujiwara no Komatari, the founder of the influential Fujiwara clan, led a coup that successfully overthrew the powerful Soga clan. This event marked the beginning of the Taika reforms, a series of sweeping political and administrative changes inspired by the Chinese Tang dynasty. The Taika reforms introduced land redistribution, a centralized tax system, and an imperial bureaucracy modeled after China, the goal to solidify imperial control and weaken the power of the local clans. By the late 7th century, the Asuka period began transitioning into the Nara period. The capital moved to Nara in 710 CE, marking a new chapter in Japan's history. Buddhism flourished during the Nara period, largely due to the patronage of the imperial family. Emperor Shomu, in particular, played a pivotal role. He envisioned a unified nation under the protective embrace of Buddhism. In 752 CE, Todaiji Temple was completed, housing the colossal Great Buddha, or Daibutsu. This bronze statue, standing over 15 meters tall, symbolized the emperor's commitment to Buddhism and showcased the era's technological and artistic achievements. The Manyoshu, Japan's oldest surviving anthology of poetry, was compiled during this time. These poems capture the essence of Japanese life, nature, and emotions, providing a window into the soul of the Nara era. The Nara period wasn't without its struggles. Natural disasters, such as droughts and famines, tested the resilience of the people. Empress Koken, who ruled twice, once as Empress Koken and later as Empress Shotoku, was a controversial figure. Her close association with the monk Dokyo sparked debate about the intertwining of religion and politics, eventually leading to stricter control on clerical influence. By the late 8th century, the challenges of centralized rule and the influence of Nara's powerful Buddhist temple pushed Emperor Kanmu to relocate the capital. In 784 CE, the court moved to Nagaoka and eventually settled in Heiankyo, modern-day Kyoto, in 794 CE, marking the beginning of the Heian period. If you're enjoying this journey through Japan's fascinating history, don't forget to hit that like button and subscribe to our channel. Share your thoughts in the comments below. We'd love to hear what you find most intriguing about Japan's evolution. Now, let's dive back into the story. The Heian era and the blossoming of Japanese identity. The Heian period is the last division of classical Japanese history, running from 794 to 1185. This period marked a cultural renaissance as Japan began to forge its unique identity, blending imported ideas with native traditions. During the Heian period, the imperial court became the epicenter of Japan's cultural renaissance. Aristocrats devoted themselves to the pursuit of beauty and refinement. Every facet of life was steeped in elegance, from calligraphy to poetry to music and dance. Perhaps the Heian era's most enduring legacy lies in its literal contributions. Lady Murasaki Shikibu's The Tale of Genji, written in the early 11th century, is often hailed as the world's first novel. It was a time of elegance, where even the moon's reflection on the water inspired profound emotion. Lady Murasaki Shikibu. Art and architecture flourished during the Heian period, giving rise to styles that were distinctly Japanese. The Yamato-e style of painting emerged, characterized by vibrant colors and depictions of Japanese landscapes and seasonal themes. Byodo-in, built in 1052 CE, is a masterpiece of Heian architecture. Its graceful symmetry and serene surroundings reflect the aesthetic principles of the time. Emperor Kanmu is regarded as one of the most powerful emperors in Japanese history. Kanmu was born in 737 AD and ascended the throne as the 50th emperor of Japan in 781 AD. Apart from moving the capital to Heian-kyo, Kanmu also took several other measures to curb the power and political ambitions of the Buddhist organizations. The Heian emperors who succeeded Kanmu were not able to wield as much power as he did. Although the emperor looked as though he was running the country, the real power was in fact held by regents from the Fujiwara clan. This clan was able to accumulate power through marriage with the imperial family. The wife of Kanu, for instance, was a member of the Fujiwara clan. The death of Michinara Fujiwara in 1027 led to the rapid decline of the Fujiwara clan. By the 11th century, two other prominent aristocratic families had emerged, the Minamoto and the Taira. Apart from that, there was some revival of imperial power. The Taira were in conflict with the Minamoto clan, and in 1180, the Genpei War was fought between these two clans. The war lasted 5 years, at the end of which the Taira were defeated. The victorious Minamoto were led by Minamoto no Yoritomo, who became Japan's first shogun. The year 1185 marks the end of the Heian period. Alternatively, 1192 used to be the year in which the Heian period ended, as it was the year that Minamoto no Yoritomo officially became shogun of the Kamakura shogunate. Feudal Japan, the rise of the samurai, and the Kamakura shogunate, 1185 to 1333. The rise of the samurai and the establishment of the Kamakura shogunate represent one of the most transformative periods in Japanese history. Minamoto no Yoritomo made himself the first shogun, in effect, military dictator of Japan, a position he held from 1192 to 1199. The position of shogun was the first to offer an alternative system of government to that of the Japanese imperial court. The Kamakura period in Japan lasted from 1192 to 1333, bringing with it the emergence of the shogun rule. Yoritomo's shogunate introduced a new era of governance. While the emperor remained a symbolic figure, real power rested with the shogun and his samurai retainers. The story of the samurai begins during the Heian period. While the emperor and aristocracy lived in relative luxury far from the capital, Japan's provinces were a different story. The distant provinces were plagued by lawlessness. Local clans began forming militia to protect their lands. These groups laid the foundations for what would later become the samurai class. Initially, these warriors were little more than hired muscle, but over time, they developed their own distinct identity. By the late Heian period, the samurai were more than just soldiers. They were evolving into a social class with their own values and codes of conduct. The late 12th century saw the samurai rise from the shadows of provincial life to center stage in Japanese history. The 13th century tested the samurai's mantle like never before. In 1274 and 1281, Japan faced invasions by the Mongol Empire. These battles showcased the resilience and ingenuity of the samurai. The first Mongol invasion, led by Kublai Khan, was repelled by heavy Japanese resistance and the aid of a typhoon, later called kamikaze, divine winds. A second, larger Mongol invasion also ends in disaster for the invaders, thanks to another typhoon and samurai resilience. These invasions strained the shogunate's resources, leading to dissatisfaction among samurai who received little reward for their service. By the early 14th century, internal discontent and external pressures weakened the Kamakura shogunate. In 1333, Emperor Go-Daigo's revolt, supported by samurai like Ashikaga Takagi, brought the shogunate to its knees. The Kamakura shogunate was more than a political regime. It marked the rise of a warrior's ethos that would define Japan for centuries. The samurai's influence extended beyond the battlefield, shaping Japan's culture, philosophy, and identity. From the early Jomon and Yayoi cultures to the rise of the Yamato and the samurai-led shogunates, Japan's journey to unification was shaped by a blend of native tradition and foreign influences. This intricate tapestry of history created a nation that values harmony, resilience, and innovation. As we reflect on the past, Japan's story reminds us of the power of unity and the enduring spirit of a people who transformed challenges into a legacy that continues to inspire the world.